Somnus. I don't know any single person who didn't get emotional when they heard this like piano in FF15. Beautiful. This is a solo violin, and that's the instrument that is probably one of the most emotional instruments. In orchestral music, when you have like violins and stuff like that, sometimes you have ensemble, which may mean you may have 12 violins playing at the same time. And you may also have solo violins where it's only just one violin player whose microphone is very amplified. Violin is an instrument that has strings, and string instruments can vibrate like human voice. While with piano, you cannot do that. So that's why like violins can be way more expressive, way more emotional. So this that is a solo cello, and what it's doing is playing counterpoint. Counterpoint is when you have multiple melodies playing together as a way to like, you know, make the whole music even more beautiful. It's a very well-studied art. You cannot just overlay two melodies together and just expect them to work very well. The reason why she added this melody on cello is exactly because she wants to use an instrument that is a bit darker than a violin. So the instrument that you pay attention the most to is the one that is the brightest or screams the loudest. So in this case, it's like the violin because it's the sharpest one. Thus, when you hear the cello kicking in, it's almost as if you don't hear it. You're still thinking about the violin. But the cello is there. Kingdom Hearts, no. So this sounds way like that's an ensemble. It doesn't sound as sharp, as precise, as pristine as the violin. It sounds wider and bigger because it's like the sound of many different string instruments playing. And this reminds me of actually Dearly Beloved in Kingdom Hearts 3. That was so beautiful. This like I think like it's these small moments that make the music so beautiful. Like after this beautiful crescendo that you have, right? You're like, okay, how is it gonna end? How is it gonna lead me to the next part that is even more emotional? And you have this sort of like a and you're like, oh shit, it's coming. And it's like, nope. It goes down and then it does the, you know. And also one thing that you notice in this track is there's no percussion throughout the whole track. There is no big timpani or big anything. That's a way in which you can write something that sounds very emotional when you cannot take away all the instrument that, you know, summon like power and stuff like that. If you take away all of that, it doesn't have any percussion, it's gonna sound way more emotional, way more atmospheric. The rhythm is given by some cellos that do the boom, 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 something like that. Boom, boom, something like that. But it's not percussion. So for example, here, let's test your counterpoint. What do you guys hear when you hear this? I suppose you hear ba 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 ba, which is the violin. But if you like listen really intently, it's like da 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 da. That is underneath the main violin. And it's basically harmonizing that main melody of the violin. They have sort of like the same rhythm and the same sort of direction, but they're playing on different notes. So you have that throughout the whole track, actually. It's full of these little harmonizations that make this track even darker. It's a beautiful way to tell you, prepare for the feels because this is not going to be a happy game. It's like they tell us, you know, they tell us before you even begin the game. It's like the music is going to tell you,